Here with Claire Cahill of Accendo Coaching and Training. Hello, Claire. How are you?
Hello. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. You featured your story in I Am a Woman Who 2021. It was great to have you contribute to that and really exciting to read your story from your perspective. 29 years with Nationwide Building Society. Some people might say you were institutionalized. Tell us a little bit about your journey and any of the challenges that you faced along that 29 years.
Yeah, so lots of challenges, really, being a woman in a leadership role and being in quite a male dominant environment, having my own personal challenges of being a working mum and having a confidence crisis, and also having a woman boss who was very much power driven, but yes, lots of lessons learned from that 29 years.
And what do you think? I mean, you worked in that leadership role, and you were very lucky to have a loyalty sabbatical. And loyalty is a strong word. It's one of your values, isn't it? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so growing up, my mum always said, get your foot in the door, Claire, see where it leads. And obviously loyalty is a family value as well as security. So I had some real internal conflict that I was dealing with, that ultimately I really wanted my freedom and wanted to make that break away from corporate world, but getting a regular income and, being safe and secure and loyal kept me where I was. So when I had the opportunity of a 6-week loyalty sabbatical, I really embraced that time and really used it to focus on what would life be like as a self-employed coach and trainer, and just really took the 6 weeks and made the most of it to then make the final leap of faith with no redundancy, no payout, no plan, just fire, passion in my stomach of failure's not an option. There just will be lessons learned along the way, and you will go through massive growth by doing what you're doing.
Yeah. We talk about sharing your story. I talk a lot about sharing your story and it being a great business card and things like that. But you actually had your own business card. You wrote your own book while you were still employed for full time. Tell us a little bit of it. You've got a copy of the book, Employee Engagement. Tell us a little bit about what the book's called and why you wrote that when you did.
Okay, so my book is called Empowering Employee Engagement, How to Ignite Your Team for Peak Performance. And I had a fabulous female boss who played to strengths in all of her people. So an opportunity came along to put 9 disengaged employees all into one team, with the view of they either leave because this isn't the role for them, or they're reignited back into the business. And me being me, I took the challenge and I wanted to reignite them back into the business. But actually, if the right move for those individuals was to leave, then knowing that I'd played the right part in enabling them to make those decisions. And all of them were reignited back into the business. And even though some of them have now left, they've left because they know what their destiny should be, and they were empowered to make those decisions rather than somebody else controlling or making those decisions for them. So yes, it was a real journey, and I just wanted to share my challenges and successes in that book, as well as other people's challenges and ultimate successes and what they learn along the way.
That's fantastic. So fast forward, it's 2019, you get that career sabbatical, you've done all this preparation, you decide to leave, you set up Accendo. What happened?
So obviously I'd set my business up back in 2012 and I was running it alongside employed work. So I'd already got some clients, but then it was the reality of, what do I do? Why do I do it? How do I do it? What real impact do I have on people? And suddenly I became the finance director, the marketing director, the CEO of my own company. And suddenly I was a solopreneur. And what was I doing? So that's then when I found it really, really important to reach out to other people who had been where I was, So networking within the Woman Who Academy was really fabulous, because I could learn from your experience, I could learn from other people in the group. And being a coach, I've always said every coach needs a coach. And so that was the first investment that I made. And it continues to be an investment, because as I grow and as my business grows, the challenges just become different. And I just found that having that support was of paramount importance to just deal with the mind chatter that goes on.
Yeah, I think sometimes it'd be quite difficult when you are a solopreneur or sole director of your company. You haven't got that team, you haven't got the IT team, you haven't got the team meetings, etc. You do need those positive people around you to lift you up rather than pull you down. How hard was it writing your story in the book? You know, it's okay writing a book about sort of your expertise, your knowledge, you know, work experiences, but to actually write your own journey, how challenging was that?
Yeah, really challenging. And I worked with a coach, a book coach. And I think the most difficult part was when I'd wrote 20,000 words and I thought, that's it, that's the book done. And she went, that's all very well and good, Claire, but you've told me how you do it. What I don't know is anything about you and the real impact that you have on other people. And the most soul destroying thing was when she said, you now need to write another 20,000 words all about you and what you do. And I just sort of had a bit of a brain freeze and a block. But once I got into the flow, it was quite cathartic to write it, and even some of the challenges, it was almost like you were grieving and you were getting out everything that you needed to get out, and seeing it in black and white was quite uplifting. And then by getting somebody else's feedback on it was then really empowering, because that feedback was really important about, so what are the good bits that we need to leave in, and what's the story that needs to be taken out because it doesn't add any value. And it was just being really brave to receive that feedback from an outsider, but actually was the ideal reader. And so that it was a challenge, and there were times when I could have quite easily just given up and got off of the roller coaster, and I'm so glad that I persevered with it.
And by contrast, writing your personal story in I Am a Woman Who, was that challenging as well?
It was, because every time we all have different stories, so I've got 46 years worth of stories, and it's about what part of my journey or my story do I want to share this time, and why do I want to share it, and why am I suddenly ready to share this part, and what value will that story then be to the readers. And you know, I shared probably my most vulnerable story yet of, you know, how I had my confidence crisis, but the impact that, you know, my female boss had on me, and how I probably made judgments, rightly or wrongly, which sort of goes completely against what I do as a coach, but that was my journey at that time. And I'm grateful for that experience, because I wouldn't be where I am today had I not had that experience. And I think by writing that in the book and sharing that has really made me appreciate now that it's okay to share that part of my story.
That's great, and thank you for sharing that story. It is inspirational, and I think what people say when they read the book, reading so many different stories from different perspectives, everybody takes something from every story, which is great, and thank you for sharing that so open and honestly. So what's next on the horizon for you, Claire? What's coming up? What exciting things have you got planning in the year ahead?
Well, after pivoting all of my, I hate the word pivoting, but that's what I did, all of my business online, I've now embraced online and I quite enjoy it. But I'm obviously looking at the road to recovery. There's a need for face-to-face, and I love being face-to-face with an audience. So my business is going to be hybrid. It's going to be partly online, partly face-to-face, and I'm looking forward to getting back out there. I've also got my workshops going through CPD accreditation, so I'll be able to offer my clients that continued professional development and certificates, which is really, really exciting.
That's great. It sounds like an exciting year ahead. I think a lot of us are going to have hybrid businesses going forward. So if I can, it's been great chatting to you, Claire, but if I can ask you to leave us with one top tip for our audience, what would that be?
I would say it's always play to strengths to allow people to shine.
Lovely. I love that. That's great. Well, thank you so much for chatting to us. It's been great to have you here. Claire Cahill from Accendo Coaching and Training. Thank you.
Thank you.